This year, me and my wife decided to be public about our finances, specifically our debt, because we want to get out of the debt. We have been out of debt once, twice, but we did purchase new properties. We just got a new house, and with the house came more debt. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's actually document this. A lot of reasons. One, when my kid grows up, she would see how I handle money, learn how to do that. If it helps someone out there, then cool, that's awesome. But it's more for me and my wife to hold ourselves accountable and look at the numbers. To me, it's very exciting. So this is what we're going to be doing. So the first thing that I always have done, write down all my bills, right? So this is the bills that no matter what, every month, every check I have to pay. And the way I went about this was, so for example, I'm in a stable job in which I actually get paid by the date. So every 7th and 22nd I get paid. I get $3,000 a check minimum. So that's just the bare minimum. I always get a little more, but it's not consistent. But I know consistently I'll get 3,000, so I just stick with the consistent number. So I have 3,000. Anyway, I wrote down everything on the check that's going to be due on the 7th, and everything is going to be due on the 2nd, right? So then we just went by the whole list. So I have my phone, Apple, gas, and then gas there ranges. So it ranges right now in the winter times where we have our heat on, it's more expensive. It can reach up to $300, which is crazy. So I just used the highest amount for this scenario because I like to be over prepared instead of under prepared. Shonen Jump, gas for the car, food. Now, food is more for groceries for the whole family. I pitch in, my wife pitches in. And then me money, I think it's really important to give yourself money to spend. But most importantly, I used to be higher. I got lower because I started learning how to cook. So now I eat more at home. So I was able to lower that down. We used to eat a lot out. I used to do 200 a check, but I actually now just combine it into one because one check was much heavier than the other one. So I just did 400 in one go. I am going to do a video on a 30-day challenge of me sticking to $400 for the whole month and seeing how I do. If I was doing it this month, I'm not going to lie to you, I already failed. We have birthdays coming up and all this and that, so we also have to budget for that. Starting next month, I'm doing a video of how I do with 400 a month. And it's more to document how my spending is, if I need to increase it or I can decrease it. Because there's no point in me having $400 and every time I pass by like 450. Not 450, but like $50 or $100. Because then now that leaks into other parts of where the money is going to go or supposed to go. Lastly, we have two properties. We have a condo that we finally started renting out. Part of the reason why we got into so much debt was because we had to pay for these both mortgages, and we kind of bit off a little more than we could chew with renovating some of the house. So we had to end up dipping into credit cards. The house mortgage is $3,500, and the condo we're renting it out for $2,000. We wanted to get to the point where we can just rent out the condo and not have to worry about that expense. So right now it is just being rented for what I pay for. I'm not getting any money back from it yet. So the condo offsets, and we'll talk a little bit about that after. So in this check, I'm putting $1,000 towards the house mortgage. And then I have the overall cost of $2,196.52. Subtract that by the $3,000 a month, I have $803 left. So I have money to play with. And that money there will break it down, but eventually I'll use that for debt. I'll use that for starting an emergency fund for my car, because me and my wife also had like some car troubles, and we had to use credit cards because we used our funds. There's that. Second check, now that's the heavy one with the mortgage, $2,500 overall $3,000, and then these are the rest of the bills. I'm not going to get too much into it. The only caveat here is if I am not renting out the condo, I need to budget for that. Here, if I am renting out the condo, my overall cost is $2,665.18. I would have $334.82 left. Or if I have to pay the condo, now we're running into $4,815.18. and I would have left over negative $1,815 with 18 cents. Now here, obviously, my wife would help me, so not too worried about that there. So we got the house because we were able to afford the condo and the house. Between me and my wife, we make $10K a month. All our expenses is about $6,000-7,000, so we have about $3,000 $2,000 money left over to play with. So we're good. We just need to get out of this credit card debt. So I did that for myself, and then I also did it for my wife. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but my wife is gonna have the majority of money left over after paying all the expenses because I'm taking on the bigger ones like the mortgage. So what we're gonna do is use her remaining money to help us fast track paying off these credit cards. So that's a quick little recap of what we did or how we're breaking down our expenses. Every time we get paid, we're gonna sit down and do this, and that's when I'll do a video, which we already did. So for example, let's say I got paid. So I did get paid. I did end up saving money for the mortgage. Here we go. I know it's like chicken scratch everywhere, but just hang on for a second. Okay, follow me for a second. So I got paid, and my overall was $4,485.31. So now I always write it down, and I knew I was going to pay off the mortgage right away, so I just did the $3,500. So now automatically what I do is, this is my second check. I just pull out this template, which I already wrote down what's going to be due, when it's going to be due, and how much it is, and how much money I'm going to have left over. So now all I do is write my leftover, and then I'm writing all the bills, right? So we got Canva, we got Crunchyroll, we got Hulu, we got Apple Care, and then internet. Here it's $116.35, but here's $117.25. And this is why I love doing this every single time sitting down, because even the bills aren't fixed, right? Sometimes they're a little more, sometimes they're a little less. Even if it's $1, $2, that could kind of derail kind of what you want to do with the leftover money. So wrote all that down, and that's where you can see I kind of messed up and I went over with the 117. So now I had $698 left. So now I'm like, okay, I need to start a bucket for my car. So oil change, brake changes, anything that I can't do myself, I need to start that fund. So when that does happen, now I don't have to pull out my credit card and be like, here you go. Right? That's what we're trying to avoid. Then, so that's $100. So it's going to be, right now it's going to try and be for every check. So it'll be about $200. And then we need a emergency fund for our home, our residence. So that's $100. And then I need one for the condo, because in case something happens, I need to replace something, whatever it is, something breaks. So I need funds for those three. And now here, I did write an e-fund because I'm like, wait, I didn't take account an emergency fund. But in a way, that kind of is the emergency funds here. But I was thinking more of health, right? Or something breaks. But then I guess we have medical care, health, insurance. So I did not include e-fund here. So now, after I did all that, paid the bills, saved $300, I have $398.93. Next, what I wanted to do was look at my credit cards. I have two credit cards. One from Chase, I owe $5,189.61. And then a Home Depot card, which we got and we used to help renovate the house because it didn't charge interest. Yeah. $7,019.57. Overall, the whole debt of my credit cards is $12,209.18. Now, I made a video that we have 700,000K plus of debt. That's including our mortgages, right? So just credit card debt, I'm in the 10, 12K range, and my wife is also in that range. So together we have about 20,000 debt. Going back to my point here. So now I went to my two credit cards that I owe, and eventually you have to pay them, right? There's a minimum payment. So I checked, and I'm like, okay, I don't have a minimum payment on the Home Depot card, but I did have one for Chase. And for that was $160. Now, very important question, which my wife also asked, well, why don't you just include that in your little template of monthly bills. And I thought about this too. I'm like, that's a good idea. I just should. The reason why you don't, or why I'm not, or why we're not, is because as you're paying this down, the interest, you always get charged differently, and you're always going to have to pay the monthly differently. Unless I'm mistaken, I should look into that. But if you get charged interest and all that, it's going to be different. It's going to fluctuate. From my experience, as you pay it down, you end up having to pay less. Maybe not. But anyway, but that's why I didn't include it on there. Month 2. So next time I do a video, I'll find out. And if it is, then I'm going to go in there and I'm going to go ahead and add it on here. It was $160 for the Chase minus the $398. I have $238 with 93 cents. I'm like, okay, let's throw in $100 at the Home Depot card. I think I had a minimum payment of like $90 now that I'm remembering, which is why I just paid $100. And then, okay, well, now I have $138 or 93 cents. So I just, instead of doing the $138, I did $100 towards Chase again just to help pay that down. And that one is my closest one to being paid off. So I want to tackle that one heavily, right? At least that's what I wanted to. So now you're like, okay, well, what are we doing with this $38? I kind of went a little overboard on the $400. I didn't go over the $400 amount, but I remembered it was my stepson's birthday. We still got to celebrate his birthday, stepdaughter's birthday. So yeah, I had about $69 left till I get paid for the first check in February. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just add that on there and give myself, go back up to like $100. Maybe I could take them out to eat or something of that nature. So that's where that went. And that's where I was done with my paycheck. So now my overall card debt following this goes from $12,209.18 to $11,809.18 with a total of $400 paying off towards a credit card debt. That was me. We're done. And we did do my wife. First, she's a little more structured. I was kind of all over the place. She ended up getting paid. And now she went back to her little cheat sheet of what has to get paid when you get paid. That makes sense. So now here we go. This was the second check. And all we now have to do is plug in how much you get paid. And now just follow the list and throw it on here. Then you subtract. After that, she had $1,136.35. And now here, I'm like, okay, let's not make this mistake of following this, even though we should, because there's a birthday that we didn't budget for. So I'm like, okay, let's take $200 for our stepson. We'll use that for his birthday, because regardless of the fact that we're going to take him out, you're going to take him out to eat, and we're just going to blow our me money, and now we're going to have to pull out the credit cards. Let's stop that now, because one of our rules is not to use credit cards. If we want to pay them off, we just have to stop using them. She gave herself $200 for her son, take her out for her birthday, so now we have $936 left. We did want to start her car bucket as well, because she does have a car. It is going to need maintenance. I'm like, let's just do 100. So now we're at 836. We got cats. That's one thing we didn't take account. Cat litter, cat food, when you do take them to the vet or whatever it is. So usually it's about $50 for the cat food and litter. So we're going to set aside $50 just to count that. So now we're going to have to go back in here and plug this in so it's in our template. Leftover was $786. Now we did what I did is, okay, let's go to your credit cards and let's see what you have to pay, right? What's the minimum payment? So Chase was $195. Then she had $591 left. So now, cool. We're just using all that, right? We're supposed to use $1,151 just for debt, or $1,000 for debt. So now we are just using the remaining $500 to debt, and in this case, it's going to be her one that's close to being paid off, which is a credit card one. So now she went from $1,649 with 47 cents to $1,149 and 41 cents, and that was it. She had left over $90. I'm like, you know what? Let's just save that for his birthday. I do want to buy him a game. I did just get him a PS5. Yes, it went on the credit card. But hey, man, it's whatever, okay? Damage is done. So we could use that to buy him a game, and then we can still take him out. So then now she'll still have her money. So if she wants to go do her nails, if she wants to like go get a massage, whatever she wants to do, she still has that aside from being able to celebrate her birthday. And then our stepdaughter's birthday is coming up next month, so that's also going to be fun. Okay, so that's where we're at. So now doing all this, something clicked on my head. I'm like, dude, we spent, so she went from 10K 600 to 10K 100 minus 500 towards debt. I'm like, man, we should have done this together, because I did mine first, and then the following day, then I did it with her. I was already done doing my stuff. But what I should have just done, I should have just used my debt, just pay the bare minimum that I needed to pay, and then just help her, or us, right, because we're married, pay off that 1,100 one, and just knock it out. So instead of 500, we would have been paying off 900 this check, which would have left us obviously in like, what was that, like 700 range, and then by next check it'd be done. So now I'm like, dang, missed opportunity, but I'm very excited on what we could do next time we get paid, or this time next month. This should be totally gone, and I'm going to keep you guys updated. So there's that. There is our check, second check of January 2026, what we're doing with it, how we're trying to get out of debt, credit card debt more importantly. So, and not only that, we get to start building up. So on here, we have 3 kids. We don't have anything that's for them, although we're starting to. The reason being is I don't think we're in the position right now to start, we're not in the building phase. We're not. We're in the maintenance phase and trying to get out of a hole phase. Once we get out of the hole, then we can start, okay, we don't have to pay interest to anybody anymore. Now we can start building accounts for the kids and start, throwing money in there. It's just one thing at a time. I just feel like that's how we operate much better. So if you guys like this kind of video, let me know. This was very fun for me to do. Make sure you are subscribed. And any tips you guys want to share, tricks that have worked for you, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.